Hey everybody, let's train the sports algorithms to wager and win money. We're going to do some regressive testing to see how the algorithms work and how we should be betting with them. Even though I'm not really betting anymore, I still can program something that can tell you how to bet. So first, let's start with soccer because it's pretty easy to explain. In soccer, it gives you a projected score of the game. The only bet that wins or pushes consistently and doesn't lose, because the goal of the picks that we're trying to put on our huge round robin combination tracker thing, where we're going to go up to as many as 15 picks if we want to. We're going to do a bunch of different parlay combinations with them and wager minimal amounts of money, like 20 bucks. What we're doing is we're throwing all the games on here at the line, which is the tie no bet line. That means that if the game ends up being a draw, then it's a push. It's not a loss because we're trying not to lose. Like, we're not just going to pick teams to win and the game ends up being a draw and we lose. That can happen in soccer. We want to not lose picks because you get punished immensely. So we're training the algorithm to not pick losses is what we're going for. Well, I put in all of the picks from yesterday into here, and it goes 7, 1, and 5, which is good. It's good. Almost predictable though. It's very difficult to lose games when the algorithm says one team's going to win here. This is MLS soccer. Like, it's pretty good. So, but there's 5 draws. So you see, only win 54% of your games. You only win 7 out of 13, but you only lose 1 also. And that's an important thing, is how minimize losses. We lost 1 game and it was Real Salt Lake and Austin FC. So when you put that into the round robin parlay tracker calculator thing, that shows you what the payouts are, you can distribute money over different combinations. That was making some money if we just bet this, but let's talk about what we're actually doing here, because we need to train this thing to show us where the profit is. Meaning, say we have to change the budget to more than we're going to make the budget. We have to make it at least, you'll see it has to be about $176 or less, $171 or less. It's tough. Let me explain why. What we'll do is we'll talk about putting the minimum on every one of these combinations and show you how expensive that would be. And also what that would have done. This is really cool test. So we're testing out, we're putting 10 cents on every 2-team parlay combination using these 13 teams as the base. So it's like New England and Portland, New England and Cincinnati, New England and Columbus, Cincinnati and Columbus, Cincinnati, all of those combinations. Those are 78 combinations apparently to do that. It costs $7.80 is the minimum amount that I'm aware of you can wager on a website that takes these kind of bets. I use FanDuel as my reference. They're one of the biggest and I have no complaints with them. They process everything immediately. They've been good. They've never banned my account for anything. They've fixed any problems. Like, I got no problem with them. And they have a huge amount of games to wager on. Whether or not their lines are the best, I have no idea. And that does matter here. However, I'm just using this as a base for testing, because how are we going to test this, right? 10 cents is the minimum, apparently. So you'd have to have 817 bucks to wager 10 cents on all the different combination strings from 2 all the way down to 13. So that's way out of my budget. I don't want to do that. However, if you had done that today, or yesterday, you would have won some money. That's not bad. And that's 333%. Now that we know this was a winner, that's a good day. What was the winningest combination? And now you'll see what I'm talking about. Watch this. So if you played just the 13-team parlay, you lost because you lost 1 game and pushed the rest. The rest pull through. Complicated programming happens when there's a push. But I believe I have done this correctly. So you lose, though. You lose your 10 cents. Okay. Let's use $1 for an example. No, let's use 10 cents because it's the minimum. So you lose. What about if you did the 12-team? Here, you're going to get some payout because you only had 1 loss. You actually make almost 2 to 1 on your money. It costs you $1.30 and you get back $3.83. All right. But that's a really good day where you only lost 1 of these games. So let's remember the percentage all the time. So that was 195%. We got to try to beat that. Do the 11s beat that? Yes, they do. They're 362%. You bet $7.80 and you win $36.04. But let's pay attention to just this number. 362%. Let's go to the tens. 438%. It keeps going up. It's not going to go up forever. Tens is 438. Can we beat 438 with the nines? No. Yeah, sorry, we do. 453 is bigger. We do. Bet $71. Get back $395. Can we beat 435 with the eights? No. Now it's 427. And then the sevens is 378. Okay. So it looks like it peaked at the nines in this instance. So 13 picks, only losing one and a lot of pushes, ended up peaking at the nines. So we will remember that when we're doing 13 teams in the future. What if we'd lost one of these close ones, though? What if we'd lost another game? Now let's like start looking at our percentage again. 40%. 79% is better with the eights. What about the sevens? 103%, even better. What about the sixes? 114%, even better, right? What about the fives? I think the answer is usually the fours or the fives, honestly. 111, no. Okay, it's lower, right? Fours, 97, interesting. Okay, so what we are learning here is that the more picks you get right, the more likely you would be wagering on the combination string that's going to be most profitable is going to be higher up, right? But you're not going to do this great every day. It's something like soccer. This is good. This is a pretty good day, right? So let's make a rule before we finalize what we're going to do for baseball. We'll make a rule that whatever the picks number is, that just 1/2 of whatever it is, or about half of what this number is, it'll round up, is the one you should be playing because you're trying to get just winners. So we'll stick with the sevens, for example, when there's 13 picks. But we're going to do a different number, and we're going to talk about baseball because it should be just as easy to read as soccer. It's actually easier to read in many instances. I'll talk about baseball in a second here. So baseball, it's supposed to pick winners, right? So when we go over to the baseball file, you'll see that it gives us an order of teams it thinks are going to win. We could just take that order. Now, this is not going to be optimal to bet on all 15 games because some of these games are supposed to be close down here. But for the purpose of this example, let's test with all of them. Let's not use any biases and just test with all of them and then read the results, even though many of these games are not played yet or are still being played right now. And we're going to talk about how it will craft what essentially you should do. So, double checking some scores as we do this. We have 15 picks on here. So I said do one more than half. It's going to be 8. Now, they actually do not offer this on FanDuel. That's kind of funny. They actually don't offer this. When you try to wager on 15s, the programming is so time intensive and there's so many combinations. They actually only let you bet. They block out this range right here. I think you can only bet on the 5s. You might not even be able to bet on the 5s. It might just be the 4s and then up to the 12s. Okay. So you see, they just can't handle it. It's amazing. So we'll mess around with the 4s, for example, because I usually, when I do large ones, I'll do the 4s because I found that that's the optimal one in my history of testing this. But I also didn't run a regression and really test it every day specifically. So we'll start probably there because I know you can't wager on these, unfortunately. And maybe we'll also mess around a little bit up here as well. But let's talk about what it's showing. So it's giving us the games in order. And if you were to bet all of them, which we're going to shrink some off this list before the end of the video, but if you were to bet all of them, all right, well, then you could bet the 4s here. And this is $130, right? Budget's way too much. Way too much for what I want to do. So we just have too many teams. Well, we'll talk about what a reasonable day is because things like Colorado's losing, for example, Washington's definitely losing. Pittsburgh won today. Cincinnati, I think, is losing, which is way down at the bottom. And everything else, Houston was losing, I think, actually 2-1, if I remember correctly. And yeah, it looks about right. Blue Jays are winning, Phillies winning, Guardians are beating the Twins, so Minnesota's losing. So this is first of all, notice the losses at the bottom, which is going to explain where we should cut this off. I already know the answer to this. I'm not going to cut to the chase. In baseball, you want to take higher margin games. On a day like today, and with the combination string that we are using, it's not giving us a lot of games above 10% margin, which are great games. It's not doing that yet. But what it is doing is still giving us games above 5% margin. And things really drop off down here. So if you were to throw a lot in here and you cut this off, I want to give you a hard number, but we'll say 5 because we're going to shrink it down to a more reasonable number of picks. But those are all winners. It's a bad example. It looks like yeah, White Sox are they losing? They might be tied. Well, point is I want to tell you where you should cut off. You definitely shouldn't be playing these picks down here as favorites because these are toss-up games. So you have to cut it off somewhere. So let's just look at the list and see how when you do this, you actually still make money if these were the results. What if Baltimore loses down here because that game hasn't been played yet? Now you're still making money. Unbelievable. Cubs could lose. Now you're losing, even at 4s. Okay. So let me say that's why looking at the bottom of this list is bad, right? You want to cut it off by margin. So I'm just going to go back to what I originally said. You want to cut this off by margin. Well, there's a 5% margin cut off right here at the White Sox game. I mean, look at that. It has Houston way down here, and they're losing right now. If I remember. Yeah, they're losing 2-1 at the bottom of the ninth, so they might lose that game. If we go back to the scores, do some score updates real fast. This is like 11-3. This is Toronto is up 6-4. It's fine. It's over. Toronto beat Boston 6-4. Milwaukee. So this game is tied between. Cleveland is up 2-1. Detroit and White Sox are tied 2-2. LA is beating Houston 2-1. Texas is just running over. Texas is just hitting like crazy. Where's Texas? Texas is up 8-0. Unbelievable. They're rolling there. So Texas up 8-0. Those are the updates of the score. What's the Colorado Kansas City scores? It's still 1-0 Kansas City, 2-0 Kansas City now. It's 2-0 Kansas City. And then Miami came back down 5-1, I believe. Yeah, they win 7-5 after going down 5-1. Oh my goodness. Look at that projection right there, too. Unreal. Look at that. Unbelievable. So let's go back and look at the list for a second. And we'll show you really what it's saying to play. Because there's a cutoff. It's not like soccer. You can lose these games. So we usually call the cutoff 10%, but on a day like today, I guess it's 5%. Because of the way this distribution is. So it's just down to the White Sox. All right. So if you go back here and you clear out everything below the White Sox. These don't matter anymore. The Cubs game has just not happened yet. That's a late game at 5:30. Miami won. Texas is crushing it. Toronto won. Wait a minute. Toronto? Yeah, Toronto won 6-4. Tampa Bay won, right? Yep, Tampa Bay won 6-2. And the White Sox are tied. So even if you lose with the Cubs, you still make 2-1 betting the 4s on just these 6, everybody. This is the kind of thing the algorithm says to do, meaning if you bet this all the way around, because 6s does not have that many combinations, all these 57 combinations. If you had a $57 budget, or cut it in half. If you want to make it, like if you want to make it a $20 budget, like I was saying, you do it like this, 40 cents each. 22.80, right? You make 33 bucks. You make 1.4 to 1. Even if you lose the Cubs, what happens if you win? You get 100, you get 6 to 1. 173 bucks. So that's the kind of stuff the algorithm can do. Right? You've got to use it to pick the premium games, but it is getting easier to update with the advancements in AI helping me matrix names and stuff. Like it's getting easier. You're not going to win every WNBA game, but you're going to do well enough sometimes, and it's just doing well. So I would say if you want to get in on this and start doing this, I sell all these things. I'll put the round robin calculator up for sale again, so you guys can mess around with this, because I mean, the optimal distribution on a 6-teamer is probably going to be the 3s then, right? So if you put your 20 bucks all on the 4s, I guess I should say. Now I said the 3s or the 4s you should take. 8 to 1 if you win them all, and if you lose the Cubs, it's still about 2 to 1. What if you bet the $1 on the 3s? Here's your 20 bucks. That means you only have to get 3 of them right to get something back. See, the payout's a little bit less if you go. But what if you go 4 and 2? Still gonna make money? No, you're barely gonna lose. So this is a good day, but also the algorithm is kicking out premium picks. That's the point. I mean, are all these big favorites? I mean, Toronto was an underdog. Tampa Bay was not a huge favorite. We have them higher up than some other things, although we have Philadelphia wrong all the way down here. We have Washington. We have some underdogs that look like they're losing here, but the underdog we have up top is winning. So the margin really matters. So what I'll do is I'll run these in the morning, and I'll probably do a quick video, although if I'm in the middle of other things, I might not. But it certainly can predict a round robin for the day with all the sports that are going on today. Like on a day like today, you could also have like the Nuggets. You want to watch that game at like minus 470 or 370. They're a terrible line, I think, right now. But they're probably going to win. They really outplayed Miami in game 1. That's still in Colorado. Miami looked like they were outclassed. And I don't know. NBA, anything can happen. But if you throw that on there, it changes payouts a little bit, changes wagers, changes combinations. You know, your 20 bucks only goes so far if you do 5s. You lose one of them, make 2.3 to 1, right? So there's a lot of ways to look at this. You don't need a huge budget to test it out. But one thing that the algorithm is going to be doing is it's going to have a cutoff. It's not going to play everything, but it's going to pick winners in baseball and take them from a margin above. It's going to pick tie no bet games in MLS on this line every week. And the other soccer algorithms, guess what? I'm doing all of them, all like 7 of them, like Bundesliga, Liga 1, Serie A, English Premier League, Champions League, Liga MX from Mexico. Yeah. La Liga, all those I just said. I can remember them all because I did a file for each one of them. Why am I going to do all of them? Because I got Bing AI to matrix names for me automatically when I just fed it to Bing AI. And so I don't have to do these one by one with RotoWire anymore. Super awesome. Thank you, AI. So I'm going to do all those. And I'm going to do a big, massive video about soccer and about offering all of them. So your soccer league of choice will get done. Because I'm excited to do it now. I've removed the manual annoyance that was involved with the soccer file, because usually I just like to make things copy, paste, and go. And you can't do that with name matrixing because you've got to get the exact name connected to the abbreviated player name. I've solved that problem thanks to Bing AI. Awesome. Awesome. So there will be all these different games to do the tie no bet is all I'm saying. So you're going to have so many different soccer games that, as you saw on today, I mean, this is really good to just have one loss out of 13. And Toronto almost won also. Toronto almost won this game. It was like, I think, an injury time Minnesota scored, I believe. It was really late. So this could have been another winner at a plus 200. It was really, really close. Anyway, point is, I'm happy to have the algorithm provide these picks and throw out a budget, and I will track it every day. We'll track it every day, everybody. So today, I just did this video, so I didn't make this bet or any of these bets. But we'll do a $20 budget, and I'll do a video tomorrow explaining what Monday's picks are in terms of baseball. And I don't know if there's soccer. Let me check real quick. Oh, there's probably soccer tonight. Sunday? No, maybe not. I don't know. Soccer's all over the world. I'm going to double check, see if there are any soccer games on Monday and what leagues they are real fast. Doing this on RotoWire, and I'll tell you what I will do, because I know I'm going to update all the other soccers today. I'm super excited to do that with Bing AI's help. So games on the 5th, there are no games, so it won't matter. But the 6th, no games. Goodness gracious. All right, so there's no soccer for a while, so you can get excited for next weekend. And it'll probably take me a little longer to update them all, more than I think anyway. But I am going to do them all, and I'm going to come out with these every day. We're going to have all the picks for all the sports we're tracking, and they're just going to pop up as many as there are above certain margins. And it's just going to literally tell you what to do here, and also where to bet. And we will discuss a permanent budget, because 21 is going to be too low if we're going to be doing more combinations. But as for now, I really want to make it small, $20. I want to make it super, super low and small. So it can be fun, and not, because what you're going to have is you're going to have a lot of mediocre stuff where you break even, lose a little bit, win a little bit. And then one of the days you're going to hit them all, or almost all of them. And it will have a really nice payout when it's a lot of teams. So we'll just see how that goes, because that's what we're going to do. All right. So good luck, everyone. May all your picks be winning. Thanks to AI, I can do these videos quicker and get the files ready to go and be more secure, knowing that they're not going to have any real ridiculous errors because I'm not spending enough time on them. The AI is really, really helping with that. So there's no reason I can't get this out for almost every sport on most days. And we'll see if I can do that, even though I'm following a lot of other things like the stock market daily as well. So good luck, everyone. I hope your picks won today. Hopefully the Cubs will win tonight, and this will be a nice run for the MLB algorithm. All right. Good luck. And watch some WNBA, because it's fun. It's fun to watch.